What's poppin', y'all? Tyler, the Creator, just said something that got these people on edge. And I'm one of those people that it got on edge. Nah, I'm just standing in the middle. I'm in the parting lane of the highway, and I'm trying to keep people from crashing into each other. So let me play you guys the first clip from this interview that Tyler, the Creator, was doing in his promotional run for Don't Tap the Glass, which is a recent album that he's released, which is one of the shortest periods between albums for Tyler, the Creator. I mean, he just dropped Chromacopia, and he dropped this right after. Usually we have to wait at least 2 years or so. That's been the average waiting time for a Tyler, the Creator project. So I'm gonna play you guys that clip right now.
To all you out there that's making music or art, you could just put this shit out. You don't always have to have the big rollout and blood, sweat, and tears. I spent 30 years on this. Because what happens is will design their own handcuffs and lock themselves up and throw a key away. And then that just turns into fear after a while. Then it takes 30 years for niggas to put something out. Then that's why we never got detox. You being too precious with the shit. And granted, I have done that. I was precious with albums, but now I'm like, oh, sometimes this song's just good. It doesn't always have to be innovative and pushing the next thing. Sometimes you just want to wear a white motherfucking t-shirt, bro.
And have fun.
But
there's
a level of...
So here you get a sense of him saying like, yo, you guys are just... This is what I got from this. I interpreted this as Tyler, the Creator, talking to mainstream artists that are holding on to an album because they think it's going to do something and they want to have this big plan and rollout for it. And then they start overthinking the album. And then maybe they start changing things up on the album. And then they change things up on the album and it doesn't end up being what the fans thought it was going to be, and then it creates such a pressure on the artist as well as the fans. Not the pressure isn't on the fans, but it creates this expectation on the fans, which is the pressure on the artist. And eventually you get to this point where you cannot live up to the expectations of the music. It cannot. The expectations are just too high. They want to be mind blown by something that can't exist. And that's what happened with Detox, which is what he was talking about. And that's why I feel like he used it as a mainstream artist type of situation, because with Detox, we never got Detox, and I think that was the smartest thing from Dr. Dre, because that really protected his legacy, because he just said he ended up doing the album Compton, which was a solid album, but that was a soundtrack, but we didn't get anything from Dre after that. And Detox, he stopped talking about it, he stopped teasing it, he stopped mentioning it, and that was just that. And the negative aspect of this is an individual like Jay Electronica, who had all of this hype, all of this promise, and didn't drop for 10 plus years, and then he comes out with that project with, I think it was it called A Written Testimony with Jay-Z, which was solid, but that's not what people expected, dog. And like, you were hyping up this album that also you changed the name, it didn't even come out. I think it was Act 2. Yeah, it was Act 2. And it's sad. And if he had just released a couple of years max, and I think he got himself just wrapped up in perfectionism, because that guy's, I don't think there are very few people in my lifetime that I've heard rap that were so buttery smooth, just like their rap voice and their level of skill. And just Jay Electronica was really a generational talent that chose to ruin himself because of this rollout thing. He was rolling out an album for 10 years and the entire landscape changed, but people weren't so appreciative of this. And someone followed this up by saying, this only applies to artists with cult followings or artists that have a strong buzz at the moment. A rollout is used to create awareness. People usually don't give a F what you drop and if they don't care about you. With rollouts, you give people a chance to care. I disagree with this, and I will just read to you guys Tyler, the Creator's response before I give you why I disagree. And then Tyler says, yeah, kinda. You could also put the music out and then spend a bunch of energy on promoting the music once it's out, instead of only focusing on it before, hoping people remember a date, which is never going to happen. I'm speaking from a place of doing both, by the way, and was speaking to folks who might feel like they can't put their art out because they think they have to do XYZ beforehand. It's no right or wrong way. This is correct that there is no right or wrong way, but a lot of this is circumstance. So for example, let's take Clips, for instance. Clips had this album ready from, what was it, 2024 or 2023? I think it was almost 2 years that they had this album ready. But what prevented them from releasing this album? Well, number one, it was the fact that there was legal issues, contractual issues. They were trying to get certain features on, like for example, they had the Kendrick Lamar feature and they were saying that the label didn't want them to have the Kendrick Lamar feature on there, so they were fighting about that. They had to shop it around to get a new deal. So it took a while for this project to release, but Clips, they didn't do an entire rollout for this 2 years. Nobody even knew that the Clips album was really happening for sure until they were ready to drop it and they had already found a deal. And Clips have been here for 20 plus years in the game. Granted, they took a big break, but that also creates a ton of anticipation. And then you've got the opposite example where certain artists are, this is one thing I completely disagree with, is a rollout is used to create awareness. People don't give a F what you drop in if they don't care about you. Yes, correct. So if during your rollout, you are able to generate attention for a song and people have no idea who you are, who you're affiliated with, and you're just an artist on your own, they want to listen to that song, project, whatever, then and there. You're not going to keep their attention like, yo, this is coming out next week. Dog, by next week, they've seen 2,500 IG Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, watched like 500 different videos, have been shown another 300 songs. They're not remembering your release date. So Tyler is right here in the sense that if you are an artist that doesn't really got much of a fan base, a rollout doesn't make sense. You drop the song and then you promote the song. That's how it works. Because if I come across a song clip or like, let's say it's a meme in a video, like, yo, what song is this? If I can't find the song, I'm forgetting about it. It's done. But if I find the song, then I'm like, oh, cool, I like this song. Or I'll at least listen to it and then I'll save it. And then there you go. You got to play. Not necessarily a fan, but you got someone that's interested in what you've got to drop in the future. So rollouts are I think this is an interesting conversation. I think it's exciting because we've seen well executed rollouts like Clips, right? And this is also another thing. Do you guys know how much money was spent on this Clips rollout? Like it was a disgusting amount of money. Do you know how much money Kendrick Lamar, for example, spent? Well, GNX wasn't a rollout really, but I'm just saying how much they're spending in general in making sure Kendrick is consistently talked about, despite him being the biggest rapper in the game alongside Drake right now. So to have an effective rollout costs a ton of money. So if you are an artist that doesn't have much of an audience base, you're already spending however much money on your album, and then you're going to spend a ton of money to create a rollout for your album when people don't even know who you are. So media is going to cost more. So all in all, I think this response was just incorrect completely. Everyone needs to just be dropping. And the only people that should be concerned with a rollout are those that have the budget to get people aware. The reason why the rollout works is because we know who these people are. They're just being reintroduced to us. So for example, in Meek Mill, do you know how many people know about Meek Mill? Like tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. But if Meek Mill just drops without a rollout, you're really only going to know if you follow Meek Mill or if hip hop pages pick it up, and they may not pick it up unless, some of them might get paid to pick it up, and then others will see that he dropped and they'll post anyway. So for a situation like Meek Mill, a rollout makes sense because we're going to invest this amount of money to reactivate Meek Mill in the minds of these tens or 100 million plus people that have heard his music before and know who he is so that they can listen when it comes out. That makes sense. But if you're a nobody, you just need to get people checking your stuff out. And the best way to do that is to promote stuff that's already out, not things that are going to come out, because it's a big commitment. It's already a massive commitment to get someone to listen to a song, but to get them to pre-save something or to wait until you release, you just got their attention and just wasted it at that point. So I'm actually with Tyler, the creator here. I get the gut feeling that this person has to reply with that because the rollouts work best for people with cult followings. But I'll give you an example of someone, I don't know if it was a rollout or not, this dude like Che. I had never heard of this guy before. The last time I had heard of somebody in the way that I heard about this guy was when Yeet was first blowing up. I was like, what's a Yeet? What's a Yeet? Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about this project. That's what it was with this guy, Che. I don't know if this guy did a rollout, but I know he dropped music and everyone was talking about it, and that got me interested in his stuff, so I'm most likely going to check it out. But let me know what y'all think about this, comments, disagreements, agreements, any experience you've had doing this. I appreciate all those insights and different perspectives. Let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one.